Welcome to the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top leaders who share stories on how to successfully systemize a business. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, Adi Klevit here, the host of the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders about systematizing a business. And today's episode is being brought to you by Business Success Consulting Group, where we create, document, optimize, and implement processes and procedures so businesses can grow and thrive. And today's guest is Adam Goldman. Hi, Adam.
Hi, how you doing, Adi?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about our conversation. We're going to talk about franchises, but you are from the viewpoint of the franchisee, finding the right franchise to buy as an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Absolutely. And okay, so your bio, let's talk about who you are. So you are a franchisor, a franchise coach with 20 years of experience. You help clients find the right franchise, negotiate deals, and build successful businesses. Your expertise and personalized approach make you a trusted advisor in the franchising industry. How did you get into it?
I kind of stumbled into this, Adi. So look, I bought a lot of real estate after 2008. I wasn't being smart or anything, just kind of lucky that I bought at that in 2009 or 2010. And I just found that all these different real estate opportunities were kind of drying up. And so what I did was I talked to a franchise coach, and they gave me a few different options. And I really resonated with a cleaning concept called Vanguard Cleaning, which I owned for 8.5 years. And I started consulting kind of on the side. And then when I sold my business, this became my full-time gig, and realized that I really like to kind of talk to people and to matchmake. I see myself as being eHarmony or Match.com, but for the franchising industry.
I love that. That's incredible. So you work with the franchisors and the franchisees, or the people that want to be a franchisee, to find the right match.
That's correct. I have 75 industries that of pre-screened franchises that I help potential investors invest with.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's break it down. You know, we are here all about systems.
Yep.
And so what is the system of finding the ideal franchise?
So look, this system's awesome, right? It's the same system I use. It's been around for over 20 years. Let's talk about the bad system first, Adi. So the bad one is the way that most people look for a franchise is it's almost like throwing a dart on a board, right? Meaning they just kind of go out and they see something. Maybe they found a great lemonade stand when they were on holiday, and like, wow, I should be looking at lemonade stands. But it's this kind of thing where they on a whim they find one brand out of the many ones and kind of dig deep, and they probably shouldn't have been digging deep on that one already. The way that my system works is that first it's a personalized system. We first determine if people are even fits for franchises, because not everyone is a franchise fit. And I'm happy to go into further detail about that. But presuming they are a fit, we have them fill out a survey. We go into a more in-depth conversation with them and anyone else involved in this decision. And then we go ahead and we have them fill out. So we create a model, a 2-page letter, a model where we're not even worried about brand, but more focused on characteristics. And then we connect them with the top 3 brands.
But that's an amazing, that's your selling system. That's how you help, right? But that's we have listeners right now, and they are curious about what, if franchising is for them, and also,
got it.
And also let's talk about, what is it? I mean, obviously, they have to do the survey, they have to go through you, absolutely. But what is it that you should look at? Like, we have listeners right now that I'm thinking, wow, should I buy a franchise? Is it for me? Let's answer that. And if yes, this is for you, what should you look for? What are the key components to know that the franchise is a good match for you?
Well, franchise is all about system, right? I'm a firm believer that an extraordinary system can make an ordinary business person extraordinary, right? So what we talk about the systems that you're looking for with a franchise, when you're buying a franchise brand, let's kind of break it down, Adi, in that you're buying a brand and a process, right? So the kind of things that you're getting is you're getting a training program, you're getting opening support, meaning if you're a brick and mortar business, how do you have a grand opening? How does that work? How do you get that first unit open? Site selection, lease negotiations, construction and design assistance, financing assistance, permits, ongoing support, marketing programs. We could keep on going on and on. I know this is a systems program. Purchasing power, right? Is there some sort of collective buying power or a collective that you can get lower prices than you otherwise would have? The other system would be related to things that are in the actual network, because one of the best things that I found being a franchisee, it's not only from the head office, it's from other people in the organization as well, mentors that you can get information from. Inside of McDonald's, some of the best innovations, things such as the McFlurry or the Egg McMuffin, came from other franchisees.
Right. So of course, as a franchisee, you are going into already produce or already systems that were done for you, for sure. But what you mentioned, maybe being a franchisee is not for everyone. So how would somebody know that being a franchisee is for them?
It's more a process of elimination, right? So if you're the kind of person that doesn't see the value of a process or system, and you like to actually create things on your own, and you can't follow things, if you want to be a McDonald's franchisee and don't like golden arches, but you want them to be something else, or you want to start selling different things on the menu, it's probably not the right thing for you. It's the kind of person that sees the value in having a system and sees the fact that if you have this system, you can potentially scale a business a lot more than if you're just starting it from scratch.
Yes, agreed. And you have to also be willing to have, the openness, right? I mean, basically the willingness to show your books, the willingness to pay the royalties or the commissions or whatever it is. It's not just, you have to, it takes a certain individual or a certain characteristics or personality. Basically, by process of elimination, you can be somebody who says, well, I don't want anybody to look at my books or what I do, or I don't want to report, I don't want to send financial reporting and so on, because that would not be a good one either, right?
Absolutely. It's process of elimination. There are different types of entrepreneurs, right? There are people that thrive in starting things from scratch. I'm not that type of entrepreneur. I'm not very good at creating my own process. I need the process created around me.
Right. And, and we consulted many franchisees and franchisors, because we created the training manuals for several franchisors. And we also work with franchisees that hired us to create and document their processes. So even if you're a franchisee, you have the system, you have the overall systems, and you have the processes that are proven processes, but you still have the freedom within it. I mean, even as a franchisee, you're not being told every single thing how to do. You still have your hiring process, you still have different processes that you do. So there is also freedom and flexibility within those systems, right?
Absolutely. Not every franchise brand is onerous, right? It just depends. So for instance, my franchise didn't have a shared marketing collective. Many franchise brands require you to spend X% of your revenue on marketing, no matter what.
Correct. So, and there can be also different franchises that dictates, okay, this is the process, it's always the same, it's always this, it's always that. And there are some that don't. And then you have to develop your own, which still gives you the creativity and being a successful entrepreneur. And, I was talking to one of our clients that has different franchises. And like you mentioned, just like what you mentioned, what happened in McDonald's is that the franchisees are the ones that brought the idea, and that idea got adapted. So you can have good ideas that are working, and you prove it by producing that idea can then be presented to other franchisees as well. So there can be that part of the creativity as well.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, so we talked about what will make somebody a good franchisee, or by process of elimination, who will not be the good franchisee. Now let's talk about what should you look at when you're looking at a prospective franchise.
Well, the most important thing is not to take their word for it, frankly. It's to go ahead and talk to franchisees. I give all of my candidates a list of questions to ask them. And what you're really looking for is you're looking for that system, right? I mean, when you buy a McDonald's, they have this playbook, right? You probably won't be able to look at that playbook, but to have an idea that that playbook exists. And by the way you find that out is by talking to these franchisees. I have one brand that someone was trying to find dirt on the brand. They couldn't find anyone to say anything bad about it. They found one review of a franchisee from 10 years ago or something. And it was just unbelievable how everyone was singing their praises. That's a good situation to be in. But I believe that every franchise brand has overperformers, average performers, and underperformers, right? The question is, if you're looking at a brand that would have one with people like you in markets like yours that are overperformers, that's a good indicator.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things, if you go into this business, just like with anything else, you have to have that drive and you want to be that overperformer. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to be an average performer. Maybe it's just a lifestyle business that you want to be mediocre. I mean, it's really up to the person to decide beforehand what is it that they want to accomplish, right?
Well, I would hope that people want to be overperformers. I don't really have, I very infrequently have people or never have people say, hey, I want to be an underperformer, average performer.
Correct. That's exactly right. But, so that's why that's also part of the process of elimination, or a process of not going there, because, if you're not interested, you're probably not going to go and look at a franchise that is really driven and moving forward. Absolutely. Okay, good. So ask a lot of questions. I agree. What else can you advise our listeners when they are looking at a prospective franchise?
I would say just kind of ask yourselves if you could see yourself doing this business, because I think that 98% of all franchise brands are meaning I could give you 3 brands, right? I'm not saying all are the same, but I give you 3 and 90% are the same, but there's an extra 2%. And that 2% might be something you have a passion for, right? So for instance, if I gave you 3 brands, but you really have a passion for kids and all other things are equal, that other 2% of working it with a swim school for children, that might be what takes you over the edge. Just kind of, I think, but from the same token, when people think about passion, my cousin's very excited about baking, right? But he's not excited about baking at 3 a.m. And so he's owned a bakery for 20 years, and his excitement about baking has really diminished because he has to wake up at 3 a.m. and make bread every day. So ask yourself if your passion really aligns with the specific business.
Yeah, that makes total sense. You also have to have a sense of purpose, right? Because it has to align with what you want to accomplish and your purpose.
Absolutely. And look, the main purpose why people invest in something like this is that they want freedom. I'm not saying they don't want to work, but they want to work on their own terms. And that's really, and it's someone that might be in corporate America towards the middle of their career. It could be someone that is towards the end of their career that's not ready to kind of say goodbye to corporate America, but corporate America has said goodbye to them. It's even situations where people at the beginning of their career, and it's even intergenerational. I've had in the past year 2 dads and moms that have sent their kids to me saying, hey, this is my kid, my child would be my 20-something-year-old or early 30-something-year-old would be a great candidate for this. Could you please talk to them?
Yes. Do you find that you have to be in the same profession in order for you to be successful at that line of franchise?
So I'm glad you asked that, Adi, because actually I think that this is one of the only industries where inexperience is a positive. I'm not talking about inexperience in general, meaning you have to have general business acumen, but many franchise brands do not want people that have specific industry experience because they want to teach people how to do it their way.
So if you are going to be a bathroom modeler, you don't necessarily, or buy a bathroom modeling franchise, you don't necessarily have to have the experience of being a bathroom modeler. Is that what you're saying?
In fact, it's a positive to not be a bathroom modeler anymore.
Why is that?
Because if you're a bathroom modeler already, you're probably not doing it the right way, according to the franchise brand.
Okay. So
Old habits are hard to, it's easier to teach a new skill than to get rid of an old habit that's bad.
yeah, we had a client that actually hired us. He was a franchisee for one of the well-known national franchises franchise for a massage, like massage for medical massage and relaxing massages. And he came from being in the IT world, and he just decided that he's going to retire and open that, and it was a great opportunity. I had another one that was an engineer, and he opened an ice cream franchise. So I guess you don't really, that's true. You do not necessarily have to have that background or be from that industry. You need to know how to run a business.
That's absolutely correct.
Right. What were some of the things that you see that make people fail as franchise owners?
So I think of franchising as being a silver bullet. And what I mean by that is the silver bullet is the franchisee, right? So look, I mean, you can be unlucky. You could start at a fitness center right before COVID and be undercapitalized in California. And next thing you know, you can't even open your yoga studio, right? These things happen. But if I look at the one X factor about what's a good franchisee or not, it's kind of the person that hasn't really done everything in their power, right? So what I say is that I've had people that are white collar people that just didn't really, they had a hard time in a blue collar business for whatever reason. It's in IT, you have user error versus machine malfunction. And I see user error as being the one factor that would mean failure. On the same token, I mean, the people that are just the successful ones, the ones that have gone that extra mile, that create relationships with other people inside the franchise, or are very friendly with the people that are the operations people at the head office, they're the ones that are successful.
So it's good relationships with corporate basically is a key ingredient.
Follow the model. Yes.
Right. It's play the game, right? You're part of a game. You have to learn the rules. And then if you follow the rules, you'll be able to win that game.
Yep.
Good. Any other obstacles or anything else that you give advice to the people that you help find a franchise that you've seen that is best practice or they should stay away from?
So one of the things that I've found out is financing is really key, right? So many of my candidates use financing. It might be a portfolio loan. It actually might even be using their 401k. Sometimes if people get a conventional loan, they haven't done a good job of negotiating at the beginning the right terms of those loans. When we were in a 2% interest environment, no one even thought that it would get to 7%. It was just kind of a given that we'd be at 2% forever. And I've had people, unfortunately, that didn't negotiate fixed loan rates, right? And that typically is very negotiable. And that's one thing. Imagine if your loan servicing, it goes from 2 to 7%, that would mean a really, really big monthly expense that you didn't expect.
Correct. Good. Any other tips or advice that you want to give our audience in terms of if they are looking at the possibility of buying a franchise?
So what I would say to people is that I think that the market's changed a lot. I've been in the industry now for 14 years plus. When I started this business, this side of coaching and connecting, brick and mortar businesses were a lot more popular. Now they still are popular in certain places, but 80% of my businesses are non-brick and mortar businesses. And what I mean by that is that things that don't seem very glamorous, like water restoration companies or blinds companies or home healthcare, things that you probably didn't think were franchising, could be very attractive business models.
That's interesting. I was thinking about it because I have a neighbor that she owns one of the known brands for blinds. I mean, she does have a brick and mortar. I mean, she has a showroom. So you're saying that you can actually own a franchise for blinds, for instance, or window treatments without having to have a showroom.
That's correct. Or you can own a swim school without an actual swim school location. You just rent out lanes at a local fitness center.
Good. So that's basically also makes it easier, like in terms of achieving that freedom, if somebody doesn't want to also invest in the real estate.
Yep. Look, leases are expensive. And leases are typically 10 years and it's personal guarantee.
Right. Right. So that's another thing that you will advise people whether to have the lease or not and what to do with that.
Absolutely.
Good. Excellent. All right, Adam. Well, if people want to get a hold of you and find out more about what you do, how would they do that?
So look, I offer free 15-minute chats. If you're not a fit for franchising, I promise to let you know. The first place to book a time would be at franchiseadam.com. And then also you could look at franchisecoach.net, where you can find out different things about franchising and book a time if you're so inclined.
Excellent. And we'll have it also in the show notes so people can easily refer to it and book a call with you if they're interested.
Thank you so much, Adi.
Thank you, Adam. It's been great having you, and see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the System Simplified podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.